During my birthday party, a stranger suddenly showed up. My girlfriend ignored me and started dancing with him, and that was the moment my heart truly broke. She even looked at me and said something so hurtful that I chose to stay silent. In the very next moment, I made a decision, one that led her to show up at my office 2 days later, in tears. I'm 28 years old, and I thought I had my life figured out. Good job at a marketing firm downtown, close group of friends who'd been with me since college, and Vanessa, my girlfriend of 3 years who I genuinely believed was the one. We talked about moving in together by the end of summer, about futures and kids, and all those things people say when they think they're in love. I had a ring picked out. Not purchased yet, but picked out. I was planning to propose in August during our trip to the coast. My birthday fell on a Saturday this year, May 16th. I'm not big on celebrations, never have been. I usually prefer a quiet dinner with close friends, maybe drinks at our usual bar. But Vanessa insisted on throwing me a proper party at my apartment. She seemed genuinely excited about it, talking about themes and decorations, and hiring a bartender. I thought it was sweet that she wanted to do something special for me, so I went along with it. Looking back, I should have paid more attention to the details she was controlling. The week leading up to the party, Vanessa was glued to her phone more than usual. We'd be watching a movie and she'd laugh at something on her screen, then quickly lock it when I glanced over. When I asked who she was texting, she'd give me vague answers. Just coordinating party stuff, or my sister being dramatic again, or work nonsense. I trusted her completely. That was my first mistake. She also became distant physically. We'd always been affectionate, holding hands while watching TV, cuddling before bed, that kind of thing. But that week, she'd stay on her side of the couch. When I tried to initiate anything, she'd say she was tired or stressed about work. I figured she was just busy with party planning and her job. I didn't push it. The party started at 7 p.m. By 8, my apartment was packed. Friends from work, college buddies I hadn't seen in months, some of Vanessa's co-workers, her friend circle, people I knew but wasn't particularly close to. My living room felt smaller than usual with 30-something people crammed in. The music was loud. Drinks were flowing from the makeshift bar Vanessa had set up, and everyone seemed to be having a better time than I was. I'm not antisocial by any means, but something felt off from the start. Vanessa kept checking the door, glancing at her phone, barely spending any time with me. I'd catch her eye across the room and smile, and she'd give me this distracted half-smile back before turning to someone else. My friend Liam noticed too. He pulled me aside around 8:30 while I was refilling my beer. "Hey man, everything cool with you and Vanessa?" "Yeah, why?" "I don't know. She just seems somewhere else tonight. It's your birthday, and she's barely talked to you. She's probably just stressed making sure everything runs smoothly." Liam didn't look convinced, but he dropped it. Around 9:30, the doorbell rang. Vanessa practically sprinted across the room to answer it, nearly knocking over someone's drink. I was in the kitchen talking to my coworker Brian about some project deadline when I heard her voice, higher and more animated than it had been all night. "You made it. Oh my God, I thought you weren't going to come." I walked into the living room and saw him. Tall, probably 6'2", with the kind of effortless style that looks expensive without trying. Dark hair swept back, perfectly tailored fitted black shirt, designer jeans, confident smile. He was holding a bottle of wine that probably cost more than my monthly electric bill and hugging Vanessa like they were long-lost lovers reuniting after years apart. The hug lasted too long. Her hand lingered on his chest when they pulled away. "Everyone, this is Cameron," Vanessa announced, her hand still on his arm. "We went to college together. He just moved back to the city last month." A few people waved. Most went back to their conversations. I set my beer down and walked over, extending my hand. "Hey man, I'm Daniel, the birthday guy." Cameron shook my hand with a grip just firm enough to feel like a test. His smile was all teeth. "Happy birthday, Daniel. Vanessa's told me so much about you." "That's funny. She's never mentioned you." The smile on his face didn't falter, but something flickered in his eyes. Vanessa's expression tightened, her jaw clenching for just a second before she forced a laugh. "I've mentioned him. You probably just forgot, babe. We haven't seen each other in like 6 years." She hadn't mentioned him. Not once. I have a good memory for things like that. I would have remembered if my girlfriend had talked about some guy she was apparently close enough with to invite to my birthday party. "Maybe," I said, not believing it for a second. Vanessa quickly steered Cameron toward the kitchen. "Let me get you a drink." "What are you in the mood for?" I watched them walk away, her hand on his lower back, guiding him through my apartment like she owned the place. Like I wasn't even there. For the next hour, I tried to enjoy my own party. I talked to friends, thanked people for coming, opened a few gifts. But I couldn't stop noticing Vanessa and Cameron. They were always in my peripheral vision. She'd laugh at things he said that weren't remotely funny, touch his shoulder when she talked, lean in close when the music got loud, even though it wasn't that loud. She'd tilt her head in that way she used to do with me when we first started dating. My buddy Liam pulled me aside again around 10:30. Dude, what the hell is going on with Vanessa and that Cameron guy? I have no idea. She's barely looked at you all night. And she's all over him. I noticed. You want me to say something? Because I'll say something. Nah, I'll handle it. But I didn't handle it. I just stood there, drinking beer after beer, watching my girlfriend flirt with a stranger at my own birthday party. Other people noticed too. My coworker Sarah gave me a sympathetic look. Brian asked if I wanted to step outside for some air. I said I was fine. I wasn't fine. I felt like I was watching my relationship disintegrate in real time, and there was nothing I could do about it. Then the music shifted. Some remix of an old hip-hop song with a heavy beat. Vanessa grabbed Cameron's hand and pulled him toward the center of the living room where a few people had started dancing. I watched her move with him, hips swaying, hands in the air, her body closer to his than it had any right to be. She looked happy. Genuinely, radiantly happy. Happier than I'd seen her in months. Maybe happier than she'd ever looked with me. Something in me snapped. I set my beer down and walked over. Hey, can I talk to you for a second? Vanessa glanced at me, and the happiness drained from her face, replaced by annoyance. Daniel, I'm dancing. Can it wait? It's my birthday. I just want to spend some time with you. Cameron stopped moving and stepped back, holding his hands up in a placating gesture. Hey man, I don't want to cause any problems here. You're not causing anything. Vanessa interrupted sharply, her eyes still on me. Daniel's just being dramatic. The music didn't stop, but the people around us got quiet. Enough people nearby heard it that I felt their attention shift to us. My face went hot. My chest tightened. Dramatic? I just asked to talk to my girlfriend. And I said I'm busy. God, you're so clingy sometimes. Can you just let me have fun for once? That word. Clingy. She said it loud enough for Cameron to hear, for our friends to hear, for half the party to hear. She said it with a look on her face like I was embarrassing her, like I was the problem, like I was ruining her good time by existing. I felt something crack inside my chest, something that had been holding together for longer than I realized. I didn't argue. I didn't yell. I didn't make a scene. I just looked at her for a long moment, memorizing her face, then turned around and walked straight to my bedroom. I heard someone call my name. Might have been Liam, but I didn't stop. I went into my room, locked the door, and sat on the edge of my bed. I sat there in the dark, staring at the floor, listening to the muffled music and laughter through the walls. My phone buzzed. Text from Liam. You good, bro? I didn't respond. Another buzz. Sarah, want me to get rid of people? I turned my phone face down on the nightstand. I stayed in that room for 30 minutes, maybe longer, just thinking. Thinking about every time Vanessa had dismissed me lately, every time she'd prioritized something or someone else, every small moment I'd ignored because I didn't want to be the clingy boyfriend. The times she'd canceled our plans last minute for work drinks. The times she'd spent entire evenings on her phone. The times she'd pulled away when I tried to be affectionate. I'd made excuses for all of it. Told myself she was stressed, that relationships go through phases, that this was normal. But this wasn't normal. Normal girlfriends don't invite random guys to their boyfriend's birthday party and ignore the boyfriend all night. Normal girlfriends don't humiliate their partners in front of their friends. I made a decision right there on that bed. A calm, clear decision that felt like the first honest thing I'd done in months. When I finally came out, the party was still going strong. Vanessa was back on the couch, sitting way too close to Cameron, showing him something on her phone. They were laughing. She didn't notice me. Nobody did at first. I walked past them, grabbed my jacket from the hook by the door, and left my own apartment. I heard someone shout, Daniel, wait, but I was already in the hallway, heading for the stairs. I ended up at a 24-hour diner called Rosie's on the edge of town, a place I used to go to during college when I needed to think. Ordered coffee and sat in a booth by the window, watching cars pass by on the street. The waitress, older woman, kind eyes, asked if I wanted anything to eat. I said just coffee. She brought me a slice of pie anyway, on the house. Said I looked like I needed it. Around midnight, my phone started blowing up. Text from Vanessa. Where did you go? Daniel, people are asking about you. This is so embarrassing. Can you just come back and act normal? You're ruining your own party. I can't believe you're doing this. Not one apology. Not one acknowledgement that maybe, just maybe, she'd done something wrong. I turned my phone off. I stayed at that diner until 2 in the morning, then checked into a cheap hotel nearby. One of those extended stay places with thin walls and a vending machine in the lobby. I didn't want to go back to my apartment while she was still there. I didn't trust what I might say. I needed time to process everything without her trying to gaslight me or manipulate the situation. The next morning, I woke up to 37 missed calls and 63 texts. Most from Vanessa, a few from friends asking if I was okay. I texted Liam, I'm fine. Staying somewhere else tonight. Can you check if everyone left my place? He responded within minutes. Yeah man, cleared out around 1 a.m. Vanessa was pissed you bailed. She left around 1:30. Want me to grab your spare key and check on things? Thanks. I'll come by this afternoon. You okay? That was rough. I will be. I didn't go back until 3 p.m. Sunday. I needed the time. Vanessa was gone, but she'd left the apartment a complete disaster. Empty bottles everywhere, food on the counter, decorations half taken down, someone's jacket on my chair. She hadn't cleaned up a single thing. There was a note on the kitchen table in her handwriting. Really mature, Daniel. We need to talk. Call me. I crumpled it up and threw it away. I spent the rest of Sunday cleaning, taking my time, thinking about everything. The apartment felt different now, like I was seeing it clearly for the first time. All of Vanessa's things scattered around. Her makeup bag on the bathroom counter, her shoes by the door, her clothes in my closet. They felt invasive now, like they didn't belong. Monday morning came faster than I wanted. I went to work, kept my head down, answered emails, attended meetings. I didn't tell anyone what happened except for my boss, and only because I needed to explain why I looked like hell. He told me to take the afternoon off if I needed. I said I'd rather work. Around 11, my assistant knocked on my office door. There's someone here to see you. She doesn't have an appointment, but she says it's urgent. Who is it? Vanessa. My stomach dropped. Of course she'd show up at my workplace. Tell her I'm in a meeting. I did. She said she'll wait. I closed my laptop and rubbed my face. I didn't want to do this here. Not at work, not in front of colleagues. But I also knew Vanessa well enough to know she wouldn't leave until she got what she wanted. She was stubborn like that. It was one of the things I used to love about her. Fine. Send her in. My assistant hesitated. You sure? I can call security if. It's fine. Thanks. Vanessa walked into my office 30 seconds later, and I barely recognized her. No makeup, hair pulled back in a messy bun, wearing sweatpants and an oversized hoodie. Her eyes were red and swollen like she'd been crying for hours. She closed the door behind her and just stood there, staring at me. You've been ignoring me for 2 days. I've been thinking. Thinking about what? I leaned back in my chair, keeping my voice steady. About the fact that you embarrassed me at my own birthday party. About the fact that you invited some guy I've never heard of and spent the entire night with him instead of me. About the fact that you called me clingy in front of everyone I care about. Cameron's just a friend. I don't care who he is. That's not the point. Then what is the point? The point is that you made me feel like I was the problem for wanting to spend time with my girlfriend on my birthday. You looked at me like I was pathetic for asking for basic respect. Her lip started trembling. I didn't mean it like that. Then how did you mean it? She sat down in the chair across from my desk, tears streaming down her face. I don't know. I was drunk and having fun, and you were just hovering. It felt suffocating. Suffocating. I didn't mean. No, you did mean it. That's the problem, Vanessa. You meant every word. And you only feel bad now because I left. If I'd stayed and pretended everything was fine, you wouldn't have thought twice about it. She broke down completely, sobbing into her hands. Part of me wanted to comfort her. 3 years of history doesn't just disappear. 3 years of memories and inside jokes and shared experiences. But a bigger part of me felt nothing. Just a cold, empty clarity that told me exactly what needed to happen. I think we should break up. Vanessa looked up, mascara streaking down her cheeks. What? I can't do this anymore. I can't be with someone who makes me feel like I'm asking for too much when all I want is basic respect and consideration. Daniel, please. I made a mistake. I'll apologize to everyone. I'll make it right. I'll never see Cameron again. It's not about the apology. It's not even about Cameron. It's about the fact that you didn't see anything wrong with what you did until I left. You were perfectly fine humiliating me as long as you were having a good time. That's not fair, isn't it? Tell me honestly, if I hadn't walked out, would you have apologized on your own? Would you have even realized you hurt me? She opened her mouth, then closed it. She couldn't answer because we both knew the truth. That's what I thought. She stood up, frantic now, grabbing the edge of my desk. So that's it. 3 years and you're just done? You're not even going to fight for us. I shouldn't have to fight for basic decency. That should just exist. I love you. You love the idea of me. You love having someone who's always there, always supportive, always understanding. But the second I need something from you, the second I ask for anything, I'm clingy. That's not true. Then prove it. Tell me one time in the last 3 months where you've prioritized me over something else. One time where you chose me. She stared at me, tears falling, and said nothing. That's what I thought. I repeated quietly. She grabbed her purse and headed for the door. Before she left, she turned back, her face twisted with anger now instead of sadness. You're going to regret this. You're throwing away 3 years over one stupid night. Maybe, but I don't think I will. She slammed the door hard enough that my assistant probably heard it down the hall. The rest of that week was brutal. Vanessa texted me every day, oscillating wildly between apologies and anger. 1 minute she'd be begging me to reconsider. The next she'd be telling me I was making the biggest mistake of my life. My friends reached out constantly, asking what happened. I gave them the basics, and most of them sided with me. A couple said I overreacted, that I should have just talked to her instead of leaving. Maybe they were right. But I couldn't shake the image of her looking at me with contempt, with embarrassment, like my presence at my own birthday party was an inconvenience. 2 weeks later, I found out through a mutual friend, Sarah from work, that Vanessa and Cameron had been talking for months before my party. Long phone calls, constant texting, meeting up for coffee. Not physically cheating, apparently, but emotional enough that Sarah said it was basically an affair. Vanessa had been planning to introduce him at my party regardless of how I felt about it. She'd even told Cameron beforehand that she and I were probably going to break up soon anyway. That confirmed everything I needed to know. I hadn't overreacted. I'd reacted exactly right. I blocked her number, unfollowed her on everything, started going to the gym 5 days a week, spending more time with friends, focusing on work. My boss promoted me in July. I took that coast trip in August anyway, but with Liam and Brian instead. It hurt for a while, but it was the kind of hurt that felt necessary. Like pulling out a splinter that had been festering too long. 3 months later, I heard through the grapevine that Vanessa and Cameron were officially dating. I felt nothing. No anger, no jealousy, nothing. Just a distant sense of relief that it wasn't my problem anymore. I didn't get my closure from her. I got it from realizing that walking away from someone who didn't value me was the best decision I'd ever made. My birthday might have been ruined, but at least I didn't waste another year pretending everything was fine. Sometimes the worst nights lead to the best choices. And sometimes the person you thought was the one turns out to be the lesson you needed to learn. I'm doing better now. Actually better, not just saying it. And I haven't heard the word clingy in months. That alone feels like freedom.